Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, a quick confirmation before we proceed. Can people hear my voice? You can confirm that using a chat box. Okay. There is a chat box available. So please quickly confirm me regarding the voice. Is the voice clear to all of you? And can you people see me? Is my video visible to all of you? That's great. And okay, great. And also confirm me about the screen. Can you see my screen as well? Can you see my screen as well? Right. Great. That's perfect. So let's wait for a minute or so that others can join as well. Because it's the first day of this webinar and yeah, people are still joining. So it's 7:08 right now. Okay, so let's wait for a minute or so that others can join. So in a minute's time, I'll start again. Okay, so be with me, stay connected. So, hello, welcome everybody. This is Rizwan Mania once again in front of you people for this very important performance management webinar for September 2021. I'm really excited, so I'm sure you all must be excited as well, right? Are you excited? Yes or no? Yes. Come on, I need answers in big numbers, okay? My sessions are the one where I really want people to be active and you need to participate with me every time. So come on, let's be active and let's make sure that this webinar will be a game changer for you people. game changer in the sense that this webinar hopefully inshallah will ensure that you pass in September 2021 attempt, right? So that's great. Now there is a chat box given here, so you can comment. So I'll just quickly give you some instructions before we proceed. So let's begin with our today's slide. Okay, now first of all, about the tutor, about myself. So I am into this ACCA teaching since last more than 14 years. I teach paper performance management, financial management, and advanced performance management. Have taught more than 6,000 students. I teach both physically in Pakistan and to online international students as well. I've conducted lots of ACCA webinars, and I'm fortunate to say that I've conducted 6 advanced performance management webinars for ACCA Pakistan, the same as I'm doing for PM. And along with that, I've conducted performance management webinars, and this is my 8th ACCA PM webinar. So obviously, a lot of experience in terms of teaching international students, conducting the webinars, and I'm really happy that many people, after the result, they WhatsApp me and they say that they have passed because of the webinar. So it's a really nice, feeling that okay, I helped someone and they pass. So again, I would want you people to help me to help yourself to pass. Are you ready? Say yes. Okay, so how to remain connected after webinar? That's a very important question, because my support is not just for these webinar days. Okay, my support will be till the last day before the exam. If you have any friend who have taken my webinar or is part of my ACCA performance management global community, the WhatsApp groups I'm talking about, so you can ask from them that my support, my revisions is till the last day. So if you want to take benefit of all those revisions, if you want support from me till the last day, so you have to be part of my WhatsApp groups. And for that, I'm sharing this number with you people, which you can see in front of your screen. It's +92 321 2436 266. You can WhatsApp me right now, and I will then after the session will add you in the global performance management group. Okay, so there are so many international students, so you can interact with them as well. You can ask questions with each other, and I will always be there to supervise you people. So if you are not part of my general WhatsApp groups, please just WhatsApp me right now so that I can add you in the WhatsApp group, and make sure nobody leaves the group, especially till the examination, because this group will be a game changer for you. Okay, so you can send me a WhatsApp message, plus admin will also share the link of that WhatsApp group in the chat box, so you can even use that link as well. Now, how to remain connected with me during the webinar? In that case, what you need to do is that there is a chat box given. So you have to use this chat box every time for asking questions. I am a person who wants a very interactive session. Those who know me from my previous webinars, I want people to engage with me. I want people to respond. I want people to be active. I want you people to reply. So please, please, please make sure that you remain active during the webinar as well. Okay. The current group in which I will add you will be a latest group. So you will get the latest update. So you should join this group for sure. Okay. Now, after this, then let's discuss the agenda for the first day, from where I'm going to start up the things. Okay, so first of all, I'll give you a quick introduction to performance management. What a paper, I would say. After F2, this is a really, really interesting paper, and students, they really enjoy if they understand the basics of the paper, and they can pass very easily. So I'll try my best to make it easy for you people. So after that, I'll share a 2 weeks plan with you people. Now, this is a very important plan, a 2 weeks plan I'll share with you people, that after the webinar, because our webinar will end at 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. So we'll end the webinar on 20th. So after 20th, you'll be left with 2 weeks. So what to do? I will tell you what to do in the remaining 2 weeks. Scope of the webinar will be discussed with you people after that. Then today's study plan, then the $1 million plans, very famous globally. These are the plans that I share with people, and they really benefit from these. Then we have a question and answer session, last 10 minutes. I'll try my best to spare some time to ask questions for you people so that you can respond to the queries. Now, one thing I need to tell you here is that one thing I need to tell you here is that what you need to do is you people need to hold your questions until and unless I give you the opportunity. So what exactly you have to do, let me tell you. When I'm teaching a topic, so don't ask questions in between, okay? I will not look at the chat box at that time. So your question, your query may, get wasted. What you have to do is that once I'll end the topic or a concept or something like that, I myself will give you the chance to ask questions. So ask the questions only that time so that your query is not wasted, okay, in the chat box. So make sure that you ask questions when I give you the opportunity. Once I finish a topic or a question, I will ask you if you need to ask anything. So just note it down the query somewhere so that you do not forget that and you can ask me later on. Other than this, last 10 minutes, definitely I'll have a session where you can ask further questions as well, okay? So there are two groups of students who are appearing in September 21 exam, okay? How many of you are attempting for the first time? So I need quick replies in the chat box. I'm looking at the chat box. How many of you are giving for the first time? I'm asking for the first time. Come on, first timers, just update me in the chat box. Okay, so there are really good numbers who are attempting for the first time. And for you, it's very important to understand a lot of things. So it's a very encouraging thing for me that many of you are appearing for the first time. This means you people will definitely learn a lot. And you will really learn a lot of new techniques because my emphasis is on techniques, how to make things easier, simple for you people, okay? That's great. Now, so many of you are attempting for the first time, and obviously there will be many students who will be giving the paper second time or maybe third time. So for both the groups of students, my suggestion is first timers, be really active. You can't miss any webinar day, okay? And those who are giving reattempt, you must learn from your mistake. Now, I'm really afraid of those who are giving reattempt because they take things really casually, okay? Because when a topic starts, they say, okay, I'm really good in this topic. I don't need to invest my time into this topic. That's wrong. That's really wrong. Listen, you don't know, there'll be a small technique or a tip that can help you to pass the paper. So don't take things for granted. Don't take things for granted. Make sure that you take the entire 15 hours because it's a really free opportunity, that ACCA has provided you. So why you are wasting this opportunity? So make sure that you are part of all the 15 hours and 5 days of the webinar, okay? So both the groups will learn a lot. Make sure you all are with me till the end. Okay, that's great. just make it more visible. Just open the window. Okay. After this, now a quick question. SPM Heart exam. Okay, let's see what responses I'm getting here. Is PM hard exam? Oh, mixed answers. It's good to see that people are writing no, not at all. Okay. Just enlarge the screen. Okay. So PM is not a hard exam. PM is not a hard exam. Okay. Yes, this is true. This is true that PM requires you people to lift yourself. Okay. It requires you people to lift yourself, right? That's what you need to understand, that you need to lift yourself. You need to lift yourself in the sense that you have to match the level of this paper. Because if you will not match the level of the paper, then obviously you will not cope up with the required things that examiner wants you to do. So remember, my friends, I will help you to step up here. I will help you to step up here, because remember, you are no more a kid. Are you a kid? No, you are no more a kid. So if you are not a kid, you have to step up. It's not a management accounting paper. Very carefully listen what I'm saying. It's not a management accounting paper. It's a performance management exam. So you need to step up in two areas, right? Number one, I would say that the expectation of the examiner is totally different. It's not an F2 exam where you are required to do the right calculations and you work out high-low, you work out the variable cost and the fixed cost by using high-low method. It's not that, okay? It's a performance management paper where you have to always ask the question why, right? Always ask the question why. Now, if you worked out a variance and that's adverse, so you ask a question why this is adverse. If you worked out a variance and that's favorable, so ask yourself why is it favorable. So this is what you have to keep in your mind, that ask yourself what the numbers mean. Right? Let me write this. It's a really good thing. You need to keep in mind what the numbers mean. Okay? In performance management, you should know what the numbers mean and why you have worked out a certain thing, because it's all about interpretation. It's not about numbers. It's not an F2 exam where you're just supposed to work out a variance or work out the fixed overhead or a variable overhead. Here, you need to know the meaning of what calculations you have done so far, right? Are you getting my point? So this is what you have to keep in your mind whenever it comes to performance management. Now, the expectation is totally different. That is what you need to keep in your mind. It's a total different expectation when it comes to performance management and interpretation. The focus should be on interpretations, ratio interpretation, variance interpretation. As I said, now what the numbers mean. Got it? Secondly, the paper pattern is different. It's a totally different paper. How I'm saying paper pattern is different. So I'll just quickly show you the exam as well right now, because those who are the fresh ones, though, they need to have an idea what the paper look like. It's not F2 exam where you have 50 questions there of 100 marks. This paper requires three expertise from you people. It requires three expertise from you people. Expertise in terms of section A, expertise for section B, and very good expertise for section C. The paper pattern is way too different compared to what you have observed or experienced in F2 paper. Okay, so before I show you the examination paper, this is the paper structure. So I will not take much time, so don't worry. I know you people are already aware of all these stuff. This is just a quick beginning I'm doing, okay? Section A, Section B, and Section C. Section A includes 15 objective test questions, 15 OTs. section A 15 OTs of 2 marks each. So that makes around 30 marks altogether. You need to charge it. So you need to keep this in your mind that 15 OTs of 2 marks each is what is important for you people in this case. Second, section B. Section B is a one where there will be 3 case studies. Okay, there will be a scenario given to you people with 5 OTs in each case study. So this comprises of 10 marks. Okay, and that makes 30 marks. You are already aware of that. Section C requires another group of skills. Skills of typing, skills of formulas, skills of spreadsheet. So if you are still confused, Rizwan Mania will be with you people. Don't worry. I will make things really easy for you people. You need to trust me, and that's why you are here. And that's why ACCA gave me this opportunity to interact with you people. So yes, my friends, I will work on the small areas where students do lot of mistakes. Okay, great. So you can see here, these are the topic areas of your paper that you are very much aware, but the only important thing I need to tell you here is the advanced costing technique, topics like ABC, target, life cycle, throughput, and environmental management accounting. These 5 topics of this section will not be tested in section C. They will only be tested in section A and B and not for the CRQs, right? It's a 3-hour exam, and obviously for me, timing is really important. My focus is massively on the timing and on time management. So from day one, I need to tell you people that it's a 3-hour paper, which means you have 180 minutes in your examination to solve 100 marks, right? So a quick mathematic will tell me that it's basically 1.8 minutes per mark. Okay, 1.8 minutes per mark is the benchmark that you have to keep in your mind. So my friends, if 1.8 minutes per mark is the benchmark that you have to keep in your mind, so what you need to do? So I'll tell you techniques specific to section A, how to handle section A, keeping in mind 1.8 minutes per mark. I'll tell you how to handle section B, and I will tell you how to handle section EC as well. So this is what you have to keep in your mind, that it's 1.8 minutes per mark, right? So let's hold it here. Let's see once we move towards the question that what importance this 1.8 minutes per mark exactly has. Okay, the type of OTs that will be tested in your paper for section A of your exam and section B of your exam includes 7 types of OTs. Okay, multiple choice question, you know, out of 4 you need to select 1. That's the best one, right? Sometimes you are able to guess as well, right, through this. Anyways, multiple response is the most dangerous when it comes to theoretical questions. Why? Because there will be no one answer. There could be 2, there could be 3, there could be 4 correct statements, which means that here you need to be very much thorough as to what exactly the right statements are. So here the conceptual understanding is really important. Fill in the blank, one of the dangerous questions when it comes to calculative questions, because it's a blank. It's a fill in the blank question where there is no options given, no indications, just input your answer. Here I have seen a lot of you struggle when it comes to the decimal policies, 1 decimal, 2 decimal, what to take. You don't know what nearest thousand means, nearest millions means, and you do a mistake and you lose easy 2 marks. Okay, so this is also one area you need to work on. Drag and drop, you just drag an option and drop at a particular place. Drop down, very much similar to MCQ, I would say sister of MCQ, because you just have a button of drop down. You just click that and you get 4 options. You select one option, right? Then you have hotspot, a graphical sort of a question where you need to identify the right area, like identify the break-even point or the profit area, so something like that. Hot area is basically true and false for you people. That is, which are the statements that are true and which are false that you need to figure out. Again, I would say for theoretical OTs, multiple response and hot area remains the dangerous areas, because in true and false, maybe more than 2-3 statements are true or maybe false that you need to figure out. And again, in multiple response, as I said, there could be more than one correct answers. So these are the difficult one when it comes to theoretical OTs, but for calculations, fill in the blank remains the big challenge. Okay, so done with this all. Now, let's quickly move towards a quick skim of the paper as to how the paper looks like in the examination. So let's quickly look at the paper to see how it looks like. So for that, let's open up one of the specimen exam maybe. Or if not this specimen, let's open any attempt question. I'm sure you people are very much familiar with this testing platform provided by ACCA to you people. This is, very important for you. You have to really keep a very close eye on this. Now you can see here, I'll just quickly give you the quick idea. We'll not waste too much time on this. You can see section A, 15 objective test questions, section B, 3 OT cases, each containing a scenario and have 5 OTs. Then section C, constructive response. The name is constructive response, which means you will construct the response by yourself, right? And this requires the skills of Excel. Microsoft Excel will work here, spreadsheet and Word, Microsoft Word or word processing sheet. Okay, so that's for 40 marks. Now, once you begin your exam, section A will be the first one where you can see the different type of questions coming in front of you. A very good option is of navigator, which allows you to jump from one question to the other one, so you can move very easily during the exam. There is an option of flag for review here as well. If you're not certain about this question, you're not clear about the question, you need to come back to review the question again, even if you've solved the question. So you just click your flag for review. So you'll see a flag every time in front of you like this, and this will give you a reminder, hello, you need to come back to this one again. So section A, then you have section B of your paper, where you can see a scenario on one side of the screen and the questions keep on changing the other side. The scenario remains the same. So that's MTQ, multiple MTQ, where you have the case studies available, right? Then you have section C, the giant one. You can see section C is here, where you will, this is very important. You need to scroll the windows, because if you don't, you cannot move to the next stream, and this really wastes your time in the paper. So you can see here the question on one side of the screen, and on the second side you can see this spreadsheet available for questions that are calculation based. And then when you do next, you can see again the same scenario on one side with word processing sheet for the typing of the answers. So this is how your paper is structured when it comes to CBE exams, and I'm sure many of you already are familiar with this. If you still are not, ACCA has given you this practice platform for the practice purpose. Coming back to the slides, we have seen the original CBE paper of 100 marks. Now coming towards the passing ratio. So passing ratio. Everybody, are you with me? Come on, say yes or no. Let me look at the chat box, how active people are. Respond quickly. Are you all with me? Yes or no? Right, you are with me. That's excellent. I need people to respond very fast, okay? Very, very, very fast. Right. Great, great. So if you look at the passing ratio, it's like a roller coaster. Enjoy roller coaster? So going up, down, then up, then up, then up, then down. So if you see here, last 8 attempts, so it was highest in March 21. I can see your message, Salar. I can see your message. Okay, don't worry. So it was 44% in March 21 and then came down to 41%. Not very big fall, I would say. But if I compare that from previous attempt, there is a 3 points decline and there was no attempt conducted last year for the comparative. But if I compare with June 19, because June 20 was all COVID, if you remember, so exams did cancelled. So if you compare with June 19, so you can see from June 19 there is a better passing ratio of June 21. But again, I would say still there is a very good room to improve the passing ratio, and this time we will work together to improve it. Are you with me? Say yes. Now, coming towards the next 2 weeks plan, what to do here. So first of all, attend all 5 days. Come on, tell me, how many of you will attend all 5 days? How many of you will attend all 5 days? I need answers from all 233 students here. Right. Great. Perfect. That's the energy. If you are with me, I will give 200% for you people. I need motivation. Right. Perfect. Okay. Second, you have to follow my $1,000,000 plan. I will share $1,000,000 plan at the end of each webinar day through my WhatsApp group. So again, those who have joined late today, a quick reminder, this is my number at the bottom. Send me a quick WhatsApp message. If you are not part of my groups, I'll add you in the global community groups of performance management. And at the end of the webinar day, I'll send you the $1,000,000 plan, and that will be a nightmare and a game changer for you, to be honest. Okay, that will really be useful for you people. So just send me a WhatsApp so that you're part of the group. Then attend the grand revision. What is grand revision? I will announce. It's a free grand revision for you people. I will conduct this grand revision for you people and will give you extra support after the webinar of these 5 days. I will conduct a revision, and that will just be for you people. So everybody be with me in that as well. After that, I will also tell you certain chapters to read from the book. Okay, so the book that I'm recommending is BPP book. Okay, it's the BPP book, and you have to read certain chapters from this book. So I will tell you the names of the chapter through the index, but not today, in the coming days. Okay, attempt mock and get it checked by expert PM tutor is really important. It's really important that mock is the success for you people. So make sure that you solve mock. Now, if you have some instructor available at your end, you can ask them to check your mock, because it will give you a big idea where you went wrong. It gives you an idea of time management. All of you who are listening me right now, listen, mock is very, 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 very important for your success. Don't take it lightly. Okay, so I will be offering this mock package. If anybody is interested in these mocks, so do let me know. You can WhatsApp me again in the group. I'll share the details. Though these are paid one, this is a paid package. But yes, if you want to be part of this, you want to be assessed, so I'm there and I will help you in that case. So those who are interested, please just WhatsApp me on my number, and also I'll share the details on the WhatsApp group. Now, scope of the webinar will be what? It will be 30% knowledge-based webinar, 70% practice-based webinar. So focus will be a lot in practice case, right? I will focus on section A and B OTs and section C constructive response. I will use ACCA platform as well. We'll focus on drafting skills a lot, because that's the biggest weakness of many of the students, that they cannot draft the answers. Especially those who are coming from F2 paper, they are not very much trained as to how to draft the answer. So Rizwan Mania has the answer to that, okay? And I'll try to cover up that in today's session as well. So yes, please be with me. Now, after this, the webinar day-wise plan. Today is budgets. Tomorrow it's variances. Day 3, very key one. The heart of F5, the heart of performance management. And this is performance measurement section. If you want to pass, you want to pass in this one, you have to pass in this section if you want to pass the paper. So this is third day, day 3. Note it down. Make sure you don't miss it. Though each and every day is very important, but this is the most crucial one. Okay. Then decision making is what we'll be targeting further. Then advanced costing technique and the new syllabus areas. Every September, you will see a slight revision in your ACCA syllabus. Okay, every September there is a slight revision in your syllabus, not very much. Now, people really get concerned about these, and they really, they really get tensed about it. So I am saying that don't be tensed about this. It's a normal small change with few additions. So don't be tensed about it. I will cover these in the last day of the webinar. Okay. So last day, 5th day, note down again, new syllabus changes will be covered, right? Great. Now, tip of the day. Every day, I'll give you a small gift, and that will be a tip from my side. So you want the tips? Yes, everyone. Do you want the tips? Yes, you want tips, right? So the tip for today is find easy marks. Rizwan Mania, best technique to pass is easy marks. Sir, are there any easy marks in the paper? Yes, lots of easy marks. You just need to learn how to search the easy marks, right? So I'll tell you where are those easy pickings. Time management means that first attempt easy OTs or easy CRQs. So how do we know the OTs are easy or not? So obviously, when you start reading the OTs, the small section A OTs, you get to know, okay, this seems manageable. So you can spend time on just reading it. You realize that is workable, solve it then and there. You think it's difficult, leave it and move on. So what about CRQs? My friends, there are requirements given in the CRQ. Now, if you read the requirement first and you realize that this is a variance question, and variance is something I'm really expert in. Variance is my favorite area. I know how to work out mixed variance and yield variance. Stop there, solve that question. So if you are solving areas in which you are good, areas which are your strength, you will gain the confidence in the paper. Never, never start with a difficult question. Now, if you all like cricket, cricket is a very famous game in Asia, Pakistan, India. So if you watch cricket, if you are a batsman at the crease, do you want to face easy bowlers first to gain the confidence, or the most difficult bowlers? Easy or difficult? I'm not getting the answers. I want quick responses. You have to talk to me. You have to interact with me. This is not a webinar where it's one-way traffic. Easy, right? So why you prefer easy? Because you want to gain the confidence. You want to play as many as shots before you face the difficult one. So why not apply the same rule in examination? So I hope you like my tip for today. Friends, today's topic, let's start with today's agenda, and that's budgeting. Now, people are really afraid of budgets because budgets is one area where lots and lots and lots of theory is tested. So, for you people, I prepared a really good analysis which will actually show you budget and the theory and the calculation tested so far. So, here it is. Budget has been tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Budget has been tested 8 times in your examination. The questions that are visible to us, the question that ACCA has disclosed so far. So 8 times it is tested, and in these 8 times, if you observe, theory has been tested for 109 marks, whereas calculations has been tested for 38 marks, which means 75% theory has been tested compared to calculation. Wow, that's analysis. And I teach on the basis of the analysis. Whatever ACCA prefers, whatever examiner prefers, is what Rizwan Mania prefers. So this means a wise student will never neglect calculation in budgets. No, I'm never saying that. But a wise student will definitely work hard when it comes to theory in the budgets, because budget is the only section, mark my words, that has the capability to be tested for 20 marks theory in CRQ. And there are lots of examples of that. You can see here 20 mark theory, 15 mark theory. There are lots of examples, 20 mark theory. So yes, and whenever calculation did came, you can see very small weightage of the calculation was tested, which making things really clear that you need to be good in theory. So Rizwan Mania will try his best today to just match your level, to teach you how to draft theory. And I'm sure at day end, before you leave, you will give me feedback. Did the techniques help you to improve or not? Right? Great. So let me look at the chat box. It's very busy chat box. There are certain questions, but not very much subject related. I can answer one. Gulnaz, this is my WhatsApp number at below at the slide. You can see I've just circled that. You send me a quick WhatsApp message at this number, and later on I will add you in the WhatsApp group so that you can be part of Rizwan Mania support group till the exams. Okay, right. Done with this one. Today's topic: activity-based budgets. A huge request I received few days back, even today when I was asking students in the WhatsApp group, because my way of teaching is that I do ask people what you want me to teach. And this is what I'm going to do the next 5 days as well, okay? I will ask you the difficult topics, the topics you want me to teach and make it easy for you. I'm ready for that. So today, I got a huge voting for activity-based budgeting. And yes, it's true, to be honest, because activity-based budget is one area which is not very much tested in the paper. I mean to say it's a new topic and haven't been tested too much. It did came in the examination previously, but because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of practice, because of lack of past papers, students were not very much comfortable with this area. So I'll spend few minutes of today's session on this activity-based budgeting followed by a 10-mark question that we'll start with. Okay. Then I will move towards one of the hottest topic is rolling budgets. Always very important, like incremental and zero based are important. So this is also a very important topic. I've covered incremental zero based in my previous June 21 webinar. So I don't want to repeat that, but that will be part of my $1 million plan. But right now, today, I will be focusing secondly on rolling budgets. Okay. Then we'll do a section C question. Then, provided time allows today, I will give you a brush up in knowledge for the budget system, the theory, where this was the third most required topic that students did message me on the WhatsApp group, and followed by section A practice question if time allows, right? So this is the agenda. I hope you like my plan. What do you think? Will this be useful? Say yes or no. Syed Muhammad Taha, it's too early to ask which section you should order, which you attempt first. I'll give you lots of tips, and let's keep this for the 5th day, okay? Right, great. So section B is what I'm targeting first, but before that, I will first give you a quick idea about what is activity-based budget. First of all, you need to know that there are types of budgets in your PM syllabus by the name of fixed budget, flexible budget, incremental budget, zero-based budget, and rolling budget and activity-based budget. Entire teaching strategy for these 5 days will be that first I will give you a recap of a topic that we will be solving. For that, we'll be solving a question, so that you get to grip the basic knowledge first, and then we'll move towards the question, because that will give you a really good opportunity to implement or apply what you have learned. I hope you will like my technique, right? Mehro, Ehsan, this is the chat box where you're writing. So don't worry, I can see your comments, okay? You are at the right place. So the first is a fixed budget, which is prepared at a single activity level, okay? And once you have made it, you don't change that. Then you have a flexible budget, which is prepared at the end of the year, and you compare this with the actual results. Then you have incremental budget. The basic point for this is this starts from the previous period actual result or previous period budget, in which you just incorporate known changes and inflation. This budget is suitable in stable conditions. Zero-based budget, totally opposite of incremental, which starts from a base of zero, in which everything needs to be justified right from the scratch. This is a budget where you don't want to rely on the past figures, and you start the budgeting activity from scratch. Rolling budget are today's topic. I'll discuss this later on. Activity-based budget is my current budget right now. So let's first discuss what is activity-based budget. Here, I will take a small break when it comes to activity-based budget, and first I will write about a technique which you are very much familiar, is known as activity-based costing. Okay, activity-based costing. Okay, those who are thinking when I will give a break, so don't worry, I will give you a break. I'll give you the rest time, so chill. I will decide and will give you the break in the at the right time. Okay. Okay. So activity-based budgeting. Before I start with activity-based budget, you need to keep in your mind, Mohammed Zain. What is your question, man? You're just writing, please reply, please reply, please reply. What to reply? Okay. So activity-based budget basically is something that you can relate with activity-based costing. Right now, I'm not teaching you activity-based costing, but just giving you a quick idea that activity-based costing is a technique through which you absorb the overheads into product cost. A quick idea: activity-based costing breaks the overheads into cost pools. If you remember the cost pools, these cost pool example includes setup is a cost pool. This is an activity. Actually, cost pool is known as an activity. So setup is an activity. Material handling is an activity. Inspection is an activity. Dispatching is an activity. Delivery is an activity. So what it says, it says break the overheads into cost pools or the activities like setup, inspection. And for these cost pools, determine a realistic cost driver. I'm sure you have heard this word. Cost driver is what? It's an activity level. You can even call this as an activity level. So cost driver, so cost pool and cost driver. And then it works out the OAR, overhead absorption rate, and then absorb the overheads into product cost. Right now, we are not learning how to absorb. Right now, we are learning that, okay, the activities which ABC will determine, the activity which ABC will determine, like inspection, like material handling, like dispatching. For these activities, we will learn how to make the budgets for these activities. So I've made it really clear. The activities which ABC is using for absorbing the overheads, what we are doing here is we will learn how to prepare budgets for these activities. That's it. So if someone asks you what is activity-based budget, so in return you will say we are preparing budgets for these activities, and that's activity-based budgets, right? So in short, what is activity-based budgeting? Come on, tell me. Activity-based budgeting is preparing budgets for the activities, right? Perfect. So let me tell you, it does uses the information given by ABC, okay, like the cost pools and the cost drivers. So it does use the information given by ABC and prepares the budget. So budgeting approach in which budgets are made for each overhead activity, right? I'll come to the advantage and drawbacks later on. And right now, it's time to quickly move towards a question and learn how to make the budgets. Are you all ready? Say yes or no. So, yes, people are with me, ready, all set to start. Okay, so, okay, my voice did lag for 2-3 minutes. That's maybe due to a small, internet issue. I think it's all fine right now. Okay, that's great. So, friends, let's begin with this first section B question. Okay, now section B. Is it a section B question? Yes, this is a section B question. And before I proceed, some tips I need to give you for section B. First of all, let me tell you examiner feedback. The feedback is examiner says that students basically do not read the scenario actively. Okay. Why I'm saying this is because there is a scenario given which soon we'll read here. Because students are not reading the scenario actively, what happens is that when they are solving the OTs, they cannot relate that with the MTQ. And when they cannot relate that with MTQ, what happens is that they go for the wrong options. And those wrong options again results in your marks, going down. So the point here I want to make is that reading of the scenario is extremely important. And when you're solving the OTs of section B, keep this in your mind that these are linked with the scenario. You don't have to consider these in isolation. Never, never, never possible that you have to consider this in isolation, right? So that's it. Clear? Second, be able to apply knowledge of theories and techniques to the scenario given, which I already mentioned. Rounding off mistakes for fill in the blank questions. Rounding off mistakes. We must learn what nearest thousands and nearest millions actually mean. Okay. So I'll also cover up once we will look at the questions that are calculative ones. So these are the tips for section B. Read the scenario, and when you're solving OTs, relate those with the scenario. That's really important, right? So let's begin. Triple B Limited is planning to make budgets for each of their warehouse activities. Okay, so how many activities do they have in a warehouse? Number one, it's material receiving, and number two, issuing deliveries. Following information will be useful for preparing budgets. Estimated numbers of activity levels. So what they have done is that they have estimated the activity levels, that is cost drivers. That is, in the coming year, they expect that number of times material received activity will be conducted 5,000 times. So 5,000 times you will receive the material. Number of deliveries will be 4,000. Okay, so it's a budgeted information. Then the budgeted resources consumption and their associated cost is. Now the word resources is very important to keep in your mind. Listen everyone, when you are preparing an activity based budget, you have to keep in your mind that activities like the one they are mentioned here, receiving deliveries, the first activity name is, okay, receiving materials and issuing deliveries. Now you receive material from supplier and you issue that material to your other departments or maybe to the customer, whatever it is. You need to keep this in your mind that to perform these activities, you will be using the resources. Are you all with me? Right. You will be using the resources. So what do I mean to say by resource? What exactly is a resource? So I would say labor is a resource, manpower is a resource, people who are working there are the resource. So these are the people who are working there are basically your resources. So whoever is working there, like your workers, your supervisors and all, do you think will they charge you for that or they will give you a free service? Come on, what do you think? Will they charge you? Yes, they will charge you. Come on, you have to reply me in the chat box, okay? So will they charge you? They will. They are not your relatives. Even if they are your relatives, they will charge you for that, right? So if they will charge you for that, so that results in a cost for you. Okay. So now what exactly I'm doing here is I will see that how many resources will be used and what is the cost of that. Or I would say what will be the cost of that, because it's all future based, it's all budgeted. So what will be the cost of those resources? And considering the consumption the activity is doing of the resource, I will allocate the cost to those activities. Now, do you agree with me on this point? If you are using the resource up to 60%, so should I charge you the cost of that consumption up to 60%? Say yes or no. Yes, people are replying me, but in very small numbers. Everyone, come on. If you will remain active with me, I'm telling you, you will pass the exam, okay? So be active. So the point I'm making here is, yes, Definitely. So if you will charge that respective percentage to that respective activity, you know what are you doing? You are making a budget. What are you doing? You are making a budget. That's it. So allocation of the expected cost to an activity is basically doing budgeting for the activities. Wow, that's so straightforward. Let's actually rehearse this and see. The budgeted resource consumption and their associated cost is given to you. Where you can see resource number one is workers, supervisor, and their expenses. The amounts are given to you here with their consumptions very clearly mentioned as well. Okay, so the first question of OT is, and that's MTQ, scenario based, there will be 5 questions, is calculate the budgeted cost of receiving material and issuing deliveries. So now I'm teaching you how to make a budget. So be with me while I'm solving this. I will quickly tell you the budgets that I'm making here. So I'll make a budget for receiving material and issuing deliveries. Okay. How will I do this? I look at the workers' wages first. Workers' wages. 60% is consumed by the material receiving, which means that 10,000 into 60% is how much? 6,000. For issuing, 10,000 into 40% is how much? 4,000. Okay, simple. Supervisor cost, 50,000 will be the budgeted cost of the supervisor. 70% of the time of supervisor will be, consumed in receiving, and 30% for deliveries. So 50,000 into 70% and 50,000 into 30%. Okay, so let's use the calculator here. It's 50,000. Can any one of you tell me before I calculate? I can't see. 35,000, right. And the remaining 15%, 30% is 15,000. Perfect. Now this is the budgeting that we are doing, okay? Then what we have is other expenses. Let's do the allocation of that as well. 10,000 into 10%, 1,000. Here, 10,000 into 90%, 9,000, right? So, rate done. Clear? So what you have here is 6,000 plus 35,000 plus 1,000, and the total budgeted cost for receiving material is how much? It's 42,000. Okay, clear? For issuing deliveries, how much is the figure? Can anyone quickly tell me? 28,000. Right? Yeah, done. So the first part is 42,000. Fill in the blank. This one, 22,000. Did you understood? This is the budgeting that you have to do in activity-based budgets. What you have to look here, you just have to see that how much is the consumption of each and every activity, consumption of a resource I'm talking about for each and every activity, and just charge that proportion to that activity and just sum up that, and that's the budget. So the expected budgeted figure for receiving material will be 42,000 and for issuing deliveries will be 28,000. Okay, my friends, I'm requesting you people to ask as many questions as you want to. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you are struggling with anything, I will answer you. I will be with you till the last day of your paper, and that's my promise. Those who already know me before, they will give this surety that what I'm saying is right. Okay. So please, please, you ask questions whatever you want to. Okay. So I have a question here from Irfa Shah. Why we are not multiplying 42,000 with 5,000? 42,000 with 5,000. Why should I multiply that? I can't understand your question. The only thing I had to do was to prepare budgets. So I looked at the simple consumption made by the activities, and based on those consumption, I'll just attribute the costs. Sayyid Wajahat, it's too early to ask this question. Please just hold on. I will guide you the important topics for section A, B, and C and everything, okay? If they are per unit, so you even need to work out per unit. You need to look at the consumption per unit, okay? And for example, 2 hours will be required and the cost per hour is, for example, $4. So like this also you can work out for per unit. Okay, I'll tell you later on why didn't we consider the activity levels, right? So listen, done. On the basis of resource consumption that is expected, you will simply allocate the cost. And that's what I've done. Now, just to give you a quick idea, what complication can further come in your paper? Do you want to know that complication? For example, what complication can come in your exam? This is just a imaginary thing I'm telling you. For example, there could be a possibility that in the paper, maybe they give you a different sort of an information. Like for example, if they say that our workers will work for maybe let's suppose 2,000 hours, okay, will work for 2,000 hours on receiving material, right? And they charge us 3 per hour. They charge us 3 per hour. So will that be difficult for you in the paper? Tell me, yes or no. Will that be difficult for you? Come on, say yes or no. No. That is also a possibility that could come in your exam, where you can easily handle a situation like this in the paper, like 2,000 hours are given to you. That's the resource consumption expected and the rate per hour that you're going to pay. So like this also you can work out this 6,000. Okay. So be prepared for anything like this can also come in your exam. Okay, Mohammed Saad Ali, I will share all the slides that I'm showing you here through my WhatsApp groups. Okay, the groups that I'm talking about, you all must be part of that group. So I'll share things on that, so through that group, right? Okay, so I think that's clear. Understood? This could be a possibility that can come in the paper. Let's move on. Now, the next question says, calculate the overhead costs per activity for receiving materials and for issuing deliveries. So now what are you supposed to do in this one? You have to work out the overhead cost per activity. So this is a budgeted cost for you, the budget that you have prepared, right? Now, if you look in the question, they gave you the estimated activity that you will consume, okay? And that's the expected, that for example, there will be 5,000 material, 5,000 times material will be received and 4,000 times deliveries will be made, right? So now what you're going to do is you will divide this 5,000 and 4,000 activities, okay, and you will work out the cost per activity. Let me quickly check, is this 5 and 4? Yeah, So you will work out the cost per activity. So 42,000 divided by 5,000 gives you 8.4 as your answer per material, okay, per material received. Where is the rubber? Yeah. Oh man, it's not working. Okay, that's great. So per material received, the cost is 8.4. And for this one, it's 28,000 divided by 4,000 is 7 per delivery. Okay, so that's the budgeted cost per activity. So can you tell me, any one of you, let me see first 10 people who will respond me. Let me check first 10 people who will respond me. This is similar to what? Anything that you have covered before. This is similar to what? Can any one of you? Any 10, first 10 people. So here we are. Yeah, great. First 10. OAR. It's similar to what you call OAR. This is overhead absorption rate that you work out for ABC costing absorption. Okay. So this is simple, that same OAR, right? That you worked out. So I hope this is clear. Done. Done. Let's move on. After the year end, the actual cost of issuing deliveries, one of the activities, was 35,000 for actual deliveries of 4,500. Okay. Calculate the variance based using actual information for issue deliveries. Okay. I need to work out the variance. Now, let me tell you here. Let me tell you here. Yeah, budgeted costs per activity, cost pool per activity. Okay, Umar? Now, why you prepare a budget? Everybody, you need to be with me, okay? Why you prepare a budget? We prepare a budget to control the cost. Is that the reason? So here you are preparing a budget to control the budget, to control the cost of an activity. And one way to control is to compare the cost that you should have incurred compared to what is incurred, which means I will compare the actual cost of 35,000, okay, and this was for 4,500 actual deliveries with the, okay, flexed costs. Now, the comparison should always be like with like, and that's what flexible budget is. Flexible budget is a one that is useful for comparing like with like. It's useful for comparing things like with like. So I will compare this with the cost that should have been. And what's that? For actual deliveries of 4,500, what should be the cost? So as you see here, 7 is the cost per delivery. So what I'll do is 4,500 into 7 will be how much? So let's have a look here. 4,500 into 7. Before I do calculation, let me see who is responding. It's 31,500, right? 31,500, which means that the cost for 4,500 deliveries should have been 31,500, but in actual the cost of 4,500 is 35,000. So is it a like with like comparison? Yes, it is. For 4,500, the cost should have been 31,500, but it did cost 35,000. It should cost 31,000 and it did cost 35,000. 31,500 it should cost. So are you getting a difference here? A variance here? Yes or no? Yes, you are getting a variance of how much? 3,500. Come on, guys. Is it favorable or adverse? Is it favorable or adverse? Quickly, 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 quickly. We don't have time. It's adverse or favorable? It's adverse, which means the cost should have been 31,500, but it is 35,000. For 4,500 deliveries, more cost was incurred compared to the expected flexed cost. So it's an adverse situation, and there is a room for you now to control the cost for the next time. You have to see why your cost went up compared to the flexed cost. That's the purpose of activity-based budgets. Are you getting my point? Okay, just wait. Isha Naveed, just wait. I'm using an example here to teach you. Let me tell you honestly, we haven't seen any past paper question that examiner has made it clear in the exam portal, and that's an unfortunate thing, to be honest. Despite the fact I'm giving you the concept and the knowledge so that you get to know. Okay, so I'm still doing a very good job, I would say here. Okay, no. Flexed, remember comparison, Arij Khan, comparison is always like with like. Let me tell you one more thing. If you can just keep in your mind the variances that you solve, okay? All those variances are also like with like, where you take actual units to see how much is the cost for actual units and what should have been. So always this is like with like. Okay? Clear? Yeah, again, always it's flexed against actual. Ganga, you are up to the mark. Flexed cost means that based on actual units, standard cost based on actual units. Okay, if you see here, this was the budgeted cost per delivery. So as per the budget, the cost per delivery is of 7. So for actual 4,500, it should have been 31,500. And that is what we say like with like. Okay. And what is like with like? That is for 4,500, the cost should have been 31,500 as per the budget, but it is 35,000. So that's where the cost is more. Okay. I hope this is clear. Done. Through. Understood? Say yes or no. Great. Now, we have to control this. So let's see how to control. We have seen that we will control this. So let's see the advantages of the workings. Listen, this budget focuses on activities. Perfect. Understood? This budget focuses on activities. You just saw by yourself, it is focusing on the activities like receiving, handling, making the budgets. Okay? By focusing on activities, what happens? It provides an opportunity to control the overheads. Okay? Now, as you saw that your cost went up. Okay? So now you will think of the measures to control the cost. Right? You will think of the measures to control the cost. So yes, it provides you an opportunity to control the overheads by controlling the activity levels. Right? So this is the advantage of activity-based budgets. Right? Solomon, flexed and flexible are same. Flexed and flexible are same. Okay? Third, useful in TQM environment. What is TQM? TQM is total quality management. Everyone be with me. TQM is total quality management. So it is useful in TQM environment, which means if you have heard about TQM, which says that product should be zero defected. There will be no defect in the product. Okay? It says there will be no defect in the product. So it's useful in TQM environment because you are looking at the activities, which means By looking at the activities, you exactly know that what is the consumption made by the activity, and there will be no wastage involved in that. So TQM basically says no defect, which means it says no wastage. There should be no wastage. There should be no defect. So by focusing on activities like this, you will control the cost and there will be no unnecessary cost being incurred because you are focusing on the activity and its consumption. So if there is any wastage sort of a thing, you will try to reduce that, which means it is useful in a TQM environment which also believes in zero wastage. Okay, so it's an advantage as you just saw here, and this advantage is of activity based budget. So tell me, do you want to learn this advantage? Should I make it easy for you how to learn it? Say yes or no. Yes, if you want to learn this. So see, there is a mnemonic for you people. CAT, cat, cat. Remember? Loved it? Yeah. So cat. Yeah, Syed Muhammad Taha, you're right. TQM believes in ideal standard. Okay. Yeah, Syed Muhammad, I just replied your question here. Right. So that's great. Now, disadvantages, the biggest and the most heaviest one, this is costly because billions of rupees relates to overheads. Overheads are of billions and billions of rupees. So you have to break the overheads into cost pools, so many cost pools, and you have to make the budgets for so many cost pools. So this will be costly, will be time consuming because you have to prepare budget for each activity. So if there are so huge significant overheads, breaking those into cost pools and then finding out the budgets and preparing budgets for that definitely will be time consuming. Okay, done. Okay, so let's apply our knowledge that we have just learned. Again, going to the questions. So let's solve the theory based OTs quickly. Are you with me? Please answer. Cat. Syed Mohammad Hassan, that's a mnemonic. C for control. Okay, let me tell you. C for control here, A for activity here, and T for TQM. Okay, right. Come on, tell me the right answers. Which of the following statements are true regarding activity-based budgeting? Now, when you're solving question like this, so do look what you want to find. So you do find a true one. Let's see. The cost determined using activity-based costing are used as a basis for preparing budgets. Come on, say quickly, yes or no? Yes, this is true. Because I did mention earlier, it uses the basis used by ABC. Yes, that's perfectly fine. Second, the ABB, the aim of ABB is to control the number of units output rather than cost themselves. True or false? This is false. No, the focus of ABB is to control the overhead cost by activity levels, by reducing the activity levels. So the focus is on activity levels, not the number of units output. Right? Clear? This means the correct answer is A. Theory going with calculation. Loving everyone? Great. Second, question 5. Quickly. Come on, I need answers from you people. You have just 30 seconds. Then I'll give you a quick tip here for section B. Which of the following statements regarding the drawbacks of ABB are true? Drawbacks. Is or are true. Which means there could be more than one drawbacks. Is or are true. More than one drawback. it is not useful, it is not always useful or applicable, as in short term, many overhead costs are not controllable and they do not vary directly with changes in the volume of activity for the cost driver. ABB will not be able to provide useful information for TQM program. Now let's do one thing here. Let's take our first break. And along with that, I'm giving you 30 seconds to think about the answer. We'll take a short break now because it's the time for a break. So I'll take a 5-minute break. But in this break, you refresh yourself. Don't leave. Think about the answer. Once I come back from the break, I'll tell you the answer. We'll give you a good tip and we'll move to the next topic. So right now it's 8:32 here. We'll resume the class at 8:37. Be with me. Think about the answer. See you at 8:37. Okay, everyone, we are back. So let's continue and let's start again from where we were. As I mentioned, now let's see how many of you found out the answers. Let me check the chat box to see what are your answers. Okay, very few answers, disappointing. Now, it's not always useful or applicable, as in short term, many overheads are not controllable and do not vary directly with the changes in volume of activity for cost driver. So just keep this in your mind that this question did mention that you are focusing on cost drivers, right? And activity-based costing or our activity-based budgets. Now, what they say that overheads in long run are related to the activities. For example, if number of receiving deliveries will increase, okay, if the receiving deliveries will increase, so this will result in increase in the activity cost. If number of issues are going down, so this will result in a reduction in the cost. So the point is that this OT is, the first OT is correct in saying that all the overheads are not perfectly related to the activity levels, okay? And if they are not, then you can't take the benefit of that or you can't control the cost, right? So this is totally correct, no issues at all. Second, ABB will not be able to provide useful information for TQM. That's totally wrong because you know cat, the T of cat says that, the T of cat says that what? The T of cat says that yes, you will take the benefit of ABB for TQM, right? Clear? So that's okay. We are done with this first OT for today. You have any questions? Just put up here. We are done with the first one. Just shut the camera, change the battery, keep it open. Okay. First one I did said, listen, activity-based budget basically says that overheads are related to activity levels. The more the activity levels, which means the more the receiving deliveries, the more will be the cost of receiving in long run, right? You are getting my point? So it says that it is not always useful or applicable, which means there is a possibility that it might not be useful every time, because in short run overheads and the activity relationship may not be there. Okay, are you getting my point? So there is a possibility in short run, because overheads, if kind of a fixed one, so in short run they does not relate to the activity levels. In long run everything is related to activity levels, right? In long run, the more the activity, the more will be the overhead cost. But in short run there is a chance that overheads are of that nature that it doesn't relate to the activity levels, and if that is the case, so you can't use activity based costing, and that will not provide you much benefit, because if uh, these are not related to that, so you can't make it useful for controlling the cost. Okay, for example, you are paying a salary to a supervisor. Okay, so in short run that remains the same. For example, if you guaranteed the supervisor that will make your payment for maybe 3 weeks, okay, so in that case it's sort of a guarantee, right? So I hope this is clear, the example. Okay, done. So guys, are we done, everyone? Good to move. Okay, what's the difference between ABB and ABC? Obed, ABB is a technique through which you absorb the overheads into product costs. It's an absorption technique, okay? And ABB prepares budgets for those activities. So let me make it summarize for you. And what's that? Using activity, you absorb the overheads. That's a activity-based costing, okay? And on the basis of and for these activities, when you prepare the budgets, that is ABB. Okay, so the last thing again I will tell you here is that it's first the budgets you make for these activities. So listen, the last thing, very important one, it's the budgets that you first make for these activities. See, this is the budgeting that you have done. So it's the budget first you make for these activities, and on the basis of these budgeted figures, you absorb the overhead into product costs. So first you prepare the budgets for setup, for inspection, for material handling, and on the basis of these budgeted figures, you know the OAR, right? This is what I worked out. So on the basis of these OAR, you absorb the overhead costs into product for the pricing purpose. Got it? So I made this really clear to you people. Good to go. Okay, so my last statement was really important, that it's the first budgets we make and then we use these activities to absorb the overheads. You will see my video, don't worry. Come on, just focus on my voice, please. So after this, it's time to move towards second budget, and that is rolling budget. And then we'll start with a question where we will definitely be targeting the theory and the calculation both, right? So guys, up till now, the first half is going good. Are you understanding the way I'm covering up the things? Are you happy? Say yes or no. Everybody be active. We want to pass in September 21, okay? And I want you to work hard. Right. Rolling budgets. Useful in dynamic conditions means uncertain conditions. When things are changing fast in the market, what do you mean by changes? That is when interest rates are changing, when exchange rates are changing, when market condition, demand and supply is changing. So when interest rates are changing, exchange rates are changing, demand and supply is changing, that is uncertain situation. Every month things are changing. The best example of this is pandemic. It's COVID-19 situation. Come on, can you tell me, are we certain still what will happen? Even though there are vaccines in the market, still we are sure what's going to happen next. Tell me, schools are closing, markets are closing, opening. In this situation, the best suited budget is rolling budget. Right? Perfect. So do keep this in your mind, that what we do in rolling budget, a quick idea I need to give you, budgets which is regularly updated by adding a further period once the previous period has expired. Okay, now how you do it? So I'll take few minutes to build up your concepts, and after this I will move towards a question. So just listen about the concepts first. Okay, so let's use an example here. For example, traditionally you used to make a fixed budget, right? And that's for 12 months. So let's assume we have made a 12-month budget, and that's for 2005, right? Okay, so your budget is for 2005. Now for rolling budget, what you will do, the first thing is, I will not repeat this again, so please listen to me very carefully now. Okay, I want to save time here. The first thing you're going to do is you will look that whether the changes in the market are monthly or they are quarterly. So first of all, you will look how quickly the things are changing. If the things are changing on a monthly basis, so you will divide the budget into 12 months. Okay. If the changes are quarterly, which means every quarter a new announcement is done by the government about the next plan. This means you will break your budget into 4 quarters. So let's assume this is quarterly. Okay, so that's quarter 1, that's quarter 2, that's quarter 3, and that's quarter 4. Okay, so you will divide this into 4 quarters: quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Now what I said, if you have heard that, depending on how quickly uh, the things are changing. Okay, so it's quarterly now. Done. Moving forward, the immediate budget that you have, the quarter 1, if you're standing here, so the immediate budget is quarter 1. For immediate budget, you do detailed planning. And for the other quarters, you do planning, but that's less detailed planning. Now the question is, why do you do like this? Why detailed planning for quarter 1 and why less detailed for the remaining quarters? This is a very good question. Because you are not certain what's going to happen after every quarter. So things which you think will change, you will not fix those at the start, and you will keep a margin, you will keep a room for them, so that once that quarter comes, before that you can plan accurately. That's why you do accurate planning for the immediate quarter and less detailed planning for the remaining quarters. Perfect. Perfect, sir. Now listen, once the first quarter expires, I'll be quick here. Once the first quarter expires, adding a further period, once previous has expired, you add another period into the budgeting system, and that's quarter 1 for 2006. Perfect. Agreed. Okay, once the first quarter expires, you'll add another quarter into the budgeting period. Done. Perfect. Happy. Okay, and next what you do and then what you do is that you will do one more thing, which is you will compare the first quarter budgets with the first quarter actual results. Okay, and when you compare, you get a difference, and that is known as variance. Okay, so you get a variance. Now in this variance, you look for the factors which are outside your control. Okay, so you look for the factors which are outside the control of the company or the management, because it's something which they can't control, like inflation they can't control, its exchange rate they can't control. So you will look at the factors which resulted in the variance which were not in your control, and for all those uncontrollable factors, you will incorporate those into the remaining quarters so that you make all those updated. Okay, so based on the current market condition, which means based on the current announcement about the government for COVID-19 for the next 3 months, that for the next 3 months, okay, the first 3 months the markets were on. Perfect. So your forecast was according to that. Now for the next 3 months, your markets will not be open and you will have a semi-lockdown. So you reduce your sales targets. Perfect example, sir, is one perfect example. So you'll reduce your sales target and you will update your immediate quarter in that case. Okay, so things which are not in your control, you will incorporate those in the remaining quarters to make it up to date according to market conditions. Wow, golden words. Done. So done with that. So what's the next thing? Rahul, focus here. What's the next thing? The next thing is, now you tell me which is the next immediate quarter. Okay, that's quarter 2. So for quarter 2, what we're going to do? Now for quarter 2, we'll do detailed planning because quarterly things change. And for the remaining quarters, that is quarter 3, quarter 4, quarter 1 of the next year, we'll do less detailed planning. Perfect. Sir, is it this something that's gonna repeat again and again? Yes, it is. This will repeat again and again and again. This means, can you predict now what's going to happen? Come on, tell me very quickly. We are ending this and moving towards a question. Once the first quarter expires, sorry, I beg your pardon. Once the next quarter expires, that is quarter two. Once the next quarter expires, what's going to happen? Expired. You will add another quarter. Okay. You will compare quarter two budget with quarter two actual results, and those things which are outside your control based on the actual market, okay, because actual market is the best representative of the current situation, so you will incorporate those into the remaining quarters and we'll make an updated budget, and that's the constant work you are doing by again and again and again and again and again. That's rolling budget. You make your budget updated on a regular basis. That's why we say it reduces uncertainty. It never eliminates, reduces, because you're updating according to market condition. That is why it provides you more realistic budgets. Okay? It provides you more realistic budgets. Done? Clear, everyone? More realistic budgets. Okay? Then you need to keep this in your mind that control will be based on recent plan. Obviously, you have an updated budget, so your controlling will be done on that basis. Okay? You will do controlling on the basis of recent plan because you have an updated budget. It's not quarterly, Hassan. I did mention earlier, it depends on how quickly the things are changing. Is it, if the things are changing monthly, so Hassan will go for monthly rolling budgets. Okay? So Mohammed Saad Ali, it depends. If changes you think now will remain for next 2 quarters, so you incorporate that. If changes you think will be quarterly, so you keep it quarterly. Okay? I hope I've answered your questions here. Yeah, obviously, Atiq, Zubair, we do incorporate that. Right? Done? Dusted? Concept clear? Zainab Aftab, you are asking a question in a chat box, and this is the chat box where you to answer the ask the questions. Okay? Okay. For yeah, things which are outside the control and you think they are applicable for 6 months or 8 months or 9 months later on, so you incorporate that. So you incorporate until the time they are until the time you think they are applicable. Only the things which are not controllable, obviously, because controllable thing is something that management needs to control by themselves. For mock, I've already mentioned there's a mock package in which you need to enroll separately. Okay. Again, Mohammed Zain, yes, if changes are 6 monthly. Okay. I hope this is clear. That's not an issue. So you can see the advantages here. Now let's move on to a past paper question. Now this time the question will be a CBE1 question. That's the section C, done with section B. So for section C, there are certain instructions I need to give separately for section C. First of all, for section C, theoretical questions, students do not understand the question requirements. I will give you a very good technique for this. That is, I will give you the technique of verb and objects through which you can easily understand the question. Candidates are struggling to use spreadsheets. So I'll teach you how to handle and use a proper format for the spreadsheet. Okay. Candidates do not relate answers with scenario. That's again for theory based one. You are not linking your drafted answers with the scenario. So again, I'll show you and give you example of that. Candidates are not focusing on gaining easy marks. Yes, this is very true. There are easy marks available every time. Candidates are answering what they thought they were being asked rather than what they were being asked. So you write what you want to write, not what is required. So yes, you have to keep that in mind as well. You have to write what you are supposed to write, not what you know, right? Okay, so let's begin. Here we are with a very good question of rolling budgets, which has tested not only calculation but theory as well. So stay connected, be with me. We'll target this question and we'll cover this for calculation and as well as theory. Okay. Now, first of all, the first part. So what I'll give you a tip here is once you start reading a scenario, first read the requirements so that you get to know actually what are the key verbs and the objects. Now I have a document with me today and I've shared that document with you people as well. Let me just quickly open the document once I find it. Yeah, it's a key verb document which you can see here. I've also shared this document with you people. This is a must read document where you are given the meanings of what calculate, what are the verbs, estimate, discuss, define, briefly describe, interpret, outline, compare, identify, explain, suggest, evaluate. These are the verbs. Justify, these are the verbs. Okay. So my point is that you must know the difference of the verbs. It's very important that a word state is not same as the word explain. So for that, make sure you do read this document. I've shared this document. It's attached here. You can download from this GoToMeeting right now. And if you still cannot, so I'll share in the WhatsApp group. Okay. So make sure you read this document. So verbs are really important in the exam. Identifying verbs are really important. And remember, with each verb, there is an object connected as well. So what is an object? Object means the main thing about which you have to answer. Okay. So for that, let's do a quick rehearsal and let's try to make your theory a bit better. Every question you read, you have to find the verbs and the objects. Now, this will not take much time, but this is a very useful activity. So, example of the verb: state, explain, discuss, compare, even calculate is a verb. Even prepare is a verb. Okay. Now, what to prepare, what to compare, what to discuss, what to explain, what to state. Want to make this your core area? Say yes or no. Want to be like this flying kick? Yeah? You want to be? Okay, so concentrate. So, what to explain, what to compare, what to define, what to calculate, that is object. That is object. See, for example, state advantages of flexible budgets. Now, advantages is a key object, or the flexible budget is the key object. So the key word for which you have to answer is not flexible budget. It's the advantage that is the object. Advantage. Key object is advantage. If you start writing about the definition of flexible budget, you are totally wasting your time. Focus should be on advantages, making our theory stronger. Then explain. What to explain? Advantages of flexible budget. Wow. So here the object is advantages of flexible budget. Again, So the focus is on advantage. Now, listen. The verb used in requirement not only indicate what to do, but often how much detail to go into. Awesome. They don't just tell you what to do, but they also tell you in how much detail you have to go into, which means the words state and explain are different with different meanings. Now, why I'm saying this? Listen, flexible budget advantages remains the same, object is same, but the verb is changing, which means the level of detailing will be different. When you are required to state the advantages, so you just have to state the advantages of a flexible budget. Like for example, if I give you quick idea using the rolling budget example here, so the advantage of rolling budgets were what? It reduces uncertainty. More realistic budgets are prepared because of rolling. Cannot be recent plan. So state means you just have to state these. Okay. But when it comes to explanation, so now your focus will not be just on saying it reduces uncertainty, or you will not say that it gives you more recent or realistic budgets. But now you have to tell why this is an advantage for the company. Explain why for a particular company this is an advantage. For example, I'll give you a quick idea. For example, if things are changing fast in a given scenario, if things are changing fast, it is written that every quarter government pass a new regulation. So now your answer of explanation will be that rolling budget provides a more realistic plan, and then you will say, which is very much relevant to the current ABC company, where regulations are coming every 3 months and you need to update the budget. So here your answer, if just restricted to rolling budget provides a realistic plan, will not give you marks. You will get marks when you will relate that it is a budget that will give you a realistic plan, and in case of the company, because things are changing fast, you can update your plan every quarter. Yes, tell the examiner why this is an advantage for the company. Learning this is the difference. So verb not only tells you what to write, but it also tells you how much to write, and for that how much, I would say you refer to the marks as well. You look at the marks. If marks are less, so less application required. If marks are more, so more application required. Understood? I hope you have. Understood. Okay. So yes, this is what you have to keep in your mind. So let's move on. Discuss steps of ABC costing. Now tell me very quickly. It's a quick, fast game I'm playing with you people. Are you ready for the game? So tell me, is object, core object, steps or ABC? Come on. Steps. Right. Compare throughput with marginal. So the object is obvious. We'll compare throughput with marginal. Object, this is the object. Calculate what? Material mix variance. Perfect. Calculate material mix variance. We'll calculate material mix variance. Understood? So I hope this is clear in every question. Let's find out the verbs and the objects. So going back to the scenario, the first is a question. Let's quickly highlight these. I don't know whether highlighter works here or not, but I think it does. So let's read. Prepare static course rolling budget for the next 4 quarters. So what is the verb? Come on, reply. Highlight. Prepare is a verb. What is the object? Static course rolling budget. Done? Perfect. Perfect. Move on. In exam, read the requirements first. Like this, highlight verb and object and then go to the scenario, because then it will make much more sense. Second one. Come on, read the question. Discuss the problems which have occurred at static co due to previous budgeting process and the improvement which might now be seen through the use of realistic rolling budgeting. Come on, friends, figure out the verbs. So let me tell you, the first and the only verb is discuss. Discuss. But how many things to discuss here? So keep a very close eye on the word and. Now what is and? Let's go to my $1,000,000 techniques. Look for the extra requirement with the word and. Awesome, awesome going on. Happy? Understood? Look for the extra requirement and. So this and is giving me the idea that there is not just one object here. There are more than one objects here. So let's look here. The first is before the and is one object and after the and is one object. So discuss problems which have occurred at static code due to previous budgeting process is your first object. You have to discuss the problems that they are facing due to previous budgeting process. This means, remember, while reading the scenario, there are problems mentioned. If you highlight those initially, your second part becomes a peanut. It becomes a peanut for you. Okay, so there is some budgeting process going on right now. Just figure out and pardon the problems. And what else you have to do? The improvements which might now be seen through the use of rolling budgets. And then you have to tell what improvements does rolling will bring in this case. Awesome, awesome going on. Happy, I can see happy faces here. No, it's a crying face. Oh, okay. So improvement which might now be seen through the use of realistic rolling budgets. Two objects. 6 marks are there. Remember, according to marking scheme, if you will answer just one object, on an average you get half marks for that. If you just wrote about problems, on an average half marks. 2 objects, 6 divided by 2, 3 marks per object. On a general basis, I'm telling you. Half marks for problems, half marks for improvement. If you wrote so good about the problems and you skipped improvements completely, the maximum you're going to get is half marks, because you missed out an object. Both are required. So that's why my technique is amazing. As Mahro said here, it's very clear that the word and is giving you the idea how things you have to break. So theory is what I will grip. Understood? Perfect. The third one. Quickly, you tell me now. How many verbs and objects? Fast. Perfect. So discuss the problems which may be encountered. Discuss the problems which may be encountered when static code tries to implement the new budgeting system. Now the object is different. The object says you have to tell the problems, but this problem now relates to implementation of new budgeting system. That is rolling budgets. Yeah. Object is also element. Okay. Done, dusted. Clear? Ready? So there are three things to keep in my mind. I have to prepare a budget. Second, I have to find out the problems of current budgeting system and what improvement rolling will bring. Now it's very clear. See, if you see the current problems in the current budgeting, okay? If there are problems in the current budgeting, so those will be overcome by rolling budget. Wow, improvements, right? And the third requirement is to think about the problems in the implementation of the new budgeting system. Implementation problems of the new budgeting system. Perfect. Let's begin. Let's begin. Let's begin. Okay. So guys, be with me. I hope this is visible to all of you. Statico is a multinational consumer goods company. First, try to find out which current budgeting style they are using. Traditionally, the company has used fixed annual budgeting process. Okay. So they are using fixed budgets in which it sets quarterly sales revenue targets for each of its product lines. Historically, however, now you know the current budgeting? Okay. Now try to find out the problems of current budgeting here. Okay. Historically, however, if a product line fails to reach its sales revenue target, okay, in any of the first 3 quarters, the company's sales director and finance director simply go back. First 3 targets, first 3 quarters sales targets not achieved. So they go back and reduce the sales revenue target for the quarter just ended. Wow. To make it look like the target was achieved. Then they increase the target for the final quarter to include any shortfall in the sales from earlier target. Is this a problem? Is this a problem? Definite problem. Which means they are changing the budget so easily. If they are unable to achieve the first 3 quarters target, they go to the last quarter, and they make it easier. Sorry, what they do, they reduce the sales revenue targets for the quarter just ended. Yes. So all what they have not achieved, they adjust in the last quarter. Right? Done? Okay. During the last financial year ended 31st August 2026, this practice meant that managers had to heavily discount many of their product lines in the final quarter in order to boost sales to minus increased target. Okay, now first 3 quarters they are not achieving the target, right? Now what they do to adjust the underachievement, they make their final quarter targets more, right? And then to achieve those, they give discounts. Discount is a cost. Even with discounts, however, they still did not reach the targets on the basis of these sales targets setting at the beginning of that year. The company had also, now listen, on the basis of the sales targets set at the beginning of the year. Now, these sales target became the reason for such heavy investment. The company had to also invest 6 million in new production lines in January 2026. So they thought sales will go really good, and they made a 6 million investment. However, to date, this new production line still has not been used. Bad. As a result of both these factors, Static saw a dramatic fall in ROI. Now you know ROI formula. What's the formula? Can anyone tell me what's the formula? It's profit divided by investment. Yeah, capital employed. So your profit went down because of discounts. Because of discounts, your profit went down. Agreed? Right? And because of investment, your capital employed went up. So it's profit divided by capital employed. So your profit went down because of discounts. Okay? And your investment went up because of your investment. So both numerator and denominator adversely affected your ROS or ROI and push the ROI to come from 18 to 16 to 88%. Right? So these are the factors. Consequently, the managing director, finance director, sales director, all dismissed. Oof, that's bad. Two key members of the account department are also on sick leave due to stress and are not expected to return some week. A new MD, inexperienced in this industry, so many problems, has been appointed and is in the process of recruiting new SD and new FD. These mistakes could have been largely avoided if company had been using rolling budgets instead of manipulating fixed targets. From now, we will be using rolling budgets, updating our budgets on a quarterly basis with immediate effect. The original flex budget for 31st August 20x7 is given to you, divided into 4 quarters, for which first quarter has just ended. Okay. The budget was based on following assumptions. Number one, assumptions of the budget, okay? To understand, sales volume. Budget is based on assumption number one. Sales volume would grow by fixed compound percentage each quarter. Gross profit margin would remain stable each quarter. It's margin. Distribution costs would remain fixed percentage of revenue each quarter. Everything is each quarter. I'll highlight this, each quarter. Administration costs would be fixed each quarter. So the above budget is based on these assumptions. Okay. Let's look at the actual results for quarter one. These are the actual results. The new MD believes that the difference between the actual and budgeted sales figure for quarter one is a result of incorrect forecasting of prices. Obviously, your prices were not correct in terms of forecasting. However, he is confident that the four assumptions, the fixed budget was based on were correct. Okay, the prices were incorrect, but the four assumptions are correct, and rolling budget should still be prepared using these assumptions. Okay. So you have to use these assumptions for the rolling budget. It's now time to prepare a budget. Let's start with part A of this question. Be with me, everyone. Spreadsheet. Let's make it 200%. Okay, great. Now, quarter one expired. So you are left with how many quarters? So we are left with quarter two, Q2, Q2, Q3, Q4, and come on, should I add one more quarter? Yes. Examiner said in examiner report, people missed out quarter one. They made just 3 quarters. Mistake. Add one more quarter. Done. What are the key things? Revenue, cost of sales, GP, distribution cost, admin cost, operating profit. Okay? Through? Right. Perfect. Now, let's start. So, I'm preparing budgets for quarter 2, 3, and 4 and 1. Now, the figures that I'll pick up here, which figure you think will be more realistic? The actual figures will indicate of the actual market conditions, or the old fixed budget figures? What's your answer? Actual. It's more representative of the market. Actual. Okay? Actual. Perfect. So I'll start with actual. But now I'll use all these figures. That's fine. But because the question said that the assumptions for preparing the budget are correct and will be used in rolling budget. So I need to move toward the assumptions given here. And I have to use the assumptions for at any cost. I have to use the assumption at any cost. Okay? Right. So now let's start. Sales volume would grow by a fixed compound percentage each quarter. It says that the growth in volume will be by fixed compound percentage. Okay? It says that the growth will be by fixed compound percentage. Okay? Now, how will I work out the growth? So I will work out the growth by taking the difference of two quarters because it's a budgeted assumption. So I'll use this figure and this figure to work out the percentage growth that they need to apply each quarter. Okay? So should I show the working in examination? Listen, you need to make a working area for workings and you do show the workings. So I'm working out the percentage growth. Examiner says logical workings are required. Open the cell is equals to, open a bracket, 13,694 the latest figure minus 13,425 the old figure divided by 13,694, I beg your pardon, 13,425 the old figure. I'm sure you are looking at my way of doing the calculations and I'm sure I will try to make things very simple for you for this paper. So let's go to this option here to show in percentage and right. So answer is 2%. Answer is 2%. Okay. So now this 2% will be applied each quarter. Each quarter. Done? So let's do it. I'll ask this question again. Should I use the revenue of actual result? Yes, which is more realistic in uncertain situation. The actual market is best in giving you the idea what is running in the market. Keep example of COVID in your mind. So it's 14,096, okay, multiplied by 2% growth rate. So multiplied by 1.02. Even you can link that from the working that you've done below. Right? Done? Any problem? No problem. Okay. Now, next. This figure multiplied by 1.02. Okay? Done? No issues. There's one option to make things more clear for you people. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th option in your testing platform. 10th option. Okay? Right? Okay. Now you have inputted the formula here. Now you just copy this formula through Control C and just paste it here. Control V. Awesome. You copy this formula and paste it here. Awesome. If you want to check, So let's check it. Quarter 4 figure, 2% incorporated. Got it? Formula copy pasted with Control C and V. Done? Done. First assumption completed. Next, gross profit margin. You know what is a gross profit margin and what is a gross profit? So it's saying gross profit margin. How you work out margin? Gross profit divided by sales. It says gross profit margin would remain stable each quarter. Gross profit margin would remain same each quarter. Okay. Now, which gross profit you believe will be more realistic for you? The actual gross profit or the fixed budget gross profit margin? Margin I'm talking about. Which gross profit margin you would believe will be much realistic one in dynamic uncertain situation? Come on, give your answers. It's not fixed budget. It's actual result that is more representative of the current market situation, which means my working number 2 will be about the GP margin based on actual results. More realistic. How will I work out? Gross profit 5356 divided by revenue 14096. Let's work out. 5356 divided by, oh, where I am. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. 5356 divided by 14096. So let's work out in terms of percentage. 38%. Actual is representative of the market condition, 38%. Now listen, it says GP margin would remain stable each quarter. Each quarter. Now this is the assumption that you are following. Every quarter you have to make sure that your margin should remain 38%. So how will you work out margin? It should be 38% of sales, right? So let's do a quick working here. Let's do a quick working. Is equals to revenue 14,378, okay, multiplied by 38%, right? 38%. Answer is 5464. Okay, now here I'll tell you a good technique also. Done? Now if I copy paste this formula and paste it here, I will not get the answer. Oh, I'm not getting the answer. I'm confused. What happened, man? Why it's not working? See, because it is not working, because it took the right revenue of C4, but obviously the cell changed and now the cell is C14. Instead of B14, it's C14. So should I tell you a very good technique? Say yes or no first. Do you want to learn? Say yes or no. Let me see how many yes are coming here. Not much. Not much. Okay. So many yes. So now I'm motivated to tell you. Okay. So let me tell you what to do. Now what you want is, you want GP margin of 38% to remain same every time, and you want to change the sales figure quarter wise. Yes, this is what you want. Yes. So what I can do, the cell that you want should not change, that's B14. Just go to that cell and before that cell use $sign. Shift 4-digit on your keyboard. Button shift and 4-digit on a keyboard. Okay. So before B dollar sign, and after B dollar sign, which means for before column dollar sign and before the row number column sign. Once you will do this, it will fix that cell permanently. It will fix that cell permanently. It will freeze the cell. Yes. So dollar sign before B and 14 both. Now see the magic. Ready for magic, everyone? Yes, we are. Control C the copy. Just select all the cells. Control V and you have your answers. You have your answers. Still not sure about the answers? Go to this button. Go to the 10th option to clear things for you. Perfect. I'm clapping for myself. Should I? Okay. So clear. Yeah, you can drag as well, Atiq Zubair. You can drag as well. Okay. But I believe using a keyboard is much easier than using a mouse in the paper. Okay. Right. Done. Yeah, this is all you can do on a platform, man. Otherwise, I would not tell you these things. Right. Done. Perfect. Now, for cost of goods sold, use a formula. Revenue minus GP will give you the cost. Agreed? Revenue minus GP will give you the cost. So that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Control C, Control V. So you have the cost here. Rounding off is not a requirement here. Decimal policies are mentioned, so not an issue. Okay. And here I'm writing less COS. So it gives you an idea that I will deduct COS. Right? Okay. Use this 10th option, right? This makes things really clear. Even it will round off the stuff as well. Automatically, things will be rounded off as well. Okay. You can even represent this in a negative sign as well if you want to. So you may represent this in a negative sign, and that's good actually if you do it. So to represent this in negative sign, you can do this as well. Like from a smaller amount, deduct the greater amount, so you get the answer in minus. Wow. Right? From a smaller amount, deduct the higher amount, so you get all the answers in minus. Okay? So this is also possible here. Now, show these in minus sign. Brackets are automatically there just because I selected this 10th option, which is a magical option. It will put negative things into bracket, will round off the stuff, and will make things really neat and tidy for you. Great. Move on. Two assumptions done. Distribution cost would remain fixed percentage of revenue each quarter. So what do you think? Which percentage is more realistic? The budgeted one or the actual result percentage? Check the battery of this laptop. Okay. Actual. Perfect. So just show the workings. You have to show the workings. Percentage distribution. 705 divided by sales, right? 705 divided by 14,096 is giving you, oh, sorry, I just used the wrong function. Yeah, I just used the wrong function. Okay, it's 705 divided by 14,096, and let's represent this in terms of percentage. So that's 5%. That's 5%. That's 5%. Okay, clear? Okay. Now, it's good to use the workings in your calculations and give the reference of that. So examiner love that. Okay. So yeah, I'll do the same thing here. Again, see, I have to show this in negative because that's a cost for me. So what I can do is I can use negative sign deliberately here to make it negative. As you can see here, we'll select this, we'll multiply with 5% here. We'll give the reference of that. Okay. And yes, we'll not forget to input the dollar sign to lock or freeze the cell. So I've used the negative sign deliberately, number one. Number two, I've freeze the cell here as well. Done. Let's copy this. Control C. Let's paste it here. Right? So I'm sure you are confused what is happening. So don't be. 10th option is there to help us. We are on track. Everything is going fine. So this is what spreadsheet is about. This is a big advantage for you people. Spreadsheet is a big blessing for you people. Okay. Admin cost to remain same fixed each quarter. So should I take admin cost of budgeted or actual? And there is a difference as well. That's 2000, that's 2020. Come on, which is more realistic one? Wow. Which is representing the current market situation? Actual, man, actual. That's rolling budget. So yes, put a negative sign, 2020, copy, paste, and you get the answer. Okay? I hope this is clear to all of you. Right? Done? Dusted? Okay. Let's use the formula, sum formula, and let's work out the final answer is equals to sum. Open the bracket. Now that's the beauty of putting negative signs. GP minus distribution minus admin gives you operating profit. Copy, paste. And the 10th option giving me the final profit figures, as you can see here. So I hope this is very much clear to all of you. My calculations are neat and tidy without any problem. This is very much clearly covered. If you want to dress up it a bit, so you have a format option, go to the cell option, go to the borders and just put lines here. Okay. And just apply it to make it look more beautiful, right? So clear, everyone? Let me show you distribution cost working. See, this is distribution cost working. Revenue multiplied by the distribution cost, 5%. I will lock this cell as you just saw and use a negative sign before this to make it negative, right? That's the working. Sayyidna Batul Fatma, I hope this is clear. For Ubaidullah Zubair, listen, for the compound percentage growth, okay, we had to use the budget, okay. We had to use the budget because you were given with 4 quarters here. So you had to use the budget in that case. Growth rate is what you need to work out, right? So for growth rate, you need 2 figures. Okay. Done. Clear? Happy with my calculation and the linking and all? Done? Perfect. Now, let's move towards the marking scheme. Tell you where are the easy marks. You know, everything will be marked here. Look for the easy marks. Never underestimate a question. So, it's an 8 mark, 1 mark for the growth rate. Easy marks, easy marks. Okay, distribution cost that you worked out, 0.5 marks. GP margin that you worked out, 0.5 marks. What else you want in life? PM is not difficult. We are making it difficult. Right? Even, okay, I'll come to that point after a few minutes. Now, the sales that I've worked out, 1 mark. Cost of sales, okay? Cost of sales that I've worked out, will also be given marks for that. And one more interesting thing you will love to hear. The quarter one results that you used, 1 mark for that as well. Surprised? Understood? I hope this is making things clear for you. Now the cost of goods sold that you worked out, 1 mark for that. GP margin 0.5. Distribution cost 1 mark. Admin cost 1 mark. Operating profit 0.5. Wow. Everything is marked. Now, one more interesting thing for you before I move towards the next part. If you did a mistake, let's suppose in calculating the growth rate, you did a mistake here. Okay? So there is own figure rule that is applicable in your PM paper. Everywhere, own figure rule. If you did a mistake here, 1 mark will be deducted. 1 mark will be deducted. Okay? And if 1 mark is deducted, so because of this wrong percentage, your revenues will be wrong. Your GP margin will be wrong. Cost of goods sold will be wrong. And your profits will be wrong. Everything will be wrong. Which means, will you lose marks for revenue, cost of goods sold, operating profit, and gross profit? Will you lose marks? No. No. Only 1 mark will be deducted, and the rest figures are wrong, but the workings that you have done are right. So still you will score 7 out of 8. Still you will score 7 out of 8. Now, who says PM is difficult? Own figure rule. Wherever there is a mistake, just deduct that mistake only and move on. So if something is difficult, leave that and move on. If something is difficult, do a wrong working, use a fictitious number and move on. That's the easy mark thing. That's the technique to pass the paper. Told you, I'll tell you how to pass. Easy marks. If something you're not certain about, don't waste much time. It's a 8 mark requirement, which means 8 into 1.8 means 14 minutes you have. In 14 minutes, you have to solve this at any cost. If something is difficult, leave that and find out easy things. Distribution cost is easy. Operating profit is easy. Your formulas are marked here. If you write the right formulas, you get the marks. Wow. Understood? That's the mindset. Things are easy. Make it easy. Don't be depressed in the exam. If something is difficult, use fictitious numbers and move on. Saad, please hold on, my brother. Please hold on. It looks so bad asking a question again. I am coming to that, please. The reason why I used was that the question says sales volume would grow by a fixed percentage compared to each quarter. And why I use was, it's simple. I needed a growth in percentage. Okay, I needed a growth in percentage, right? So growth in percentage means that I need 2 quarter figures, and that's what I did. Okay, so I had to use 2 quarter figures, right? So my friends, is the marking scheme clear to all of you? And own figure rule, say yes or no. And remember, if there is something difficult, leave it and move on. Isha, not needed. Use proper words. Look more professional. I just used here. But if you are short of time, then it's okay. Saat, that depends on assumptions. Okay. I'll come to the rounding off in OT's area where there will be 2 decimal, 3 decimal. Then I'll tell you about the rounding off. Okay. Mohammed Abdi Nasir. Okay. Happy? Happy everyone? Okay, now let's move on towards the next part. I'll solve theory here. Be with me, please. Discuss is the first verb. So just for my own ease, I know things to make sure that I cover each and everything. Remember, if there are 2 objects to answer, it's always good to use 2 subheadings to tell examiner that these are the 2 things I've answered. Awesome. If you had to answer about the problems, so you can use a subheading. Problems in current budgeting. One subheading is this one. Okay. And second subheading is improvements. Perfect planning. Yes, you can use short paragraphs with a subheading is good. Never write in bullets. Never in bullets. Short paragraphs with subheadings is awesome for the examiner. Learn new things. Rizwan Mania is telling you $1,000,000 techniques for calculation, for theory, for OTs, for long question, for CRQs. Okay, done. So problems in current budgeting is the first object, improvement is the second one. Use paragraphs for these, not write in bullets. Okay, now let's relate with the scenario. What are the current problems in the budgets? Okay, so let's highlight the problems. We just saw a clear manipulation being done. Because of the fixed annual budgeting process, the targets is what they are changing. That's a problem. They are changing the targets. Problem 1, they are changing the targets. Problem 2, what happened? Scenario based. Problem 2, what happened? Find the points of the scenario. Because they had to change the targets, so they did what? They had to give heavy discounts to meet the targets. Second problem. Awesome. Most easiest way. They had to give discounts. Because of this, what happened? Their profit went down. Okay. One more thing. Because because their forecast was not right. Because their forecast was not right. See, based on the sales target, because their forecast was not right, they made a wrong investment as well. Wrong investment done. And that investment is not in use right now. Wrong investment done. So because of poor planning, poor forecast, they had to change the results. They had to give discounts. They had to make an investment. And because of that, their ROI went down from 16 to 8%. Problems. Yes, you have to write this, not copy paste the things. Examiner told this in the examiner report that people were just copy pasting the thing. Who told you to do that? Write in your own words, but use these points. Okay. Want to know how? See, I have answer to this as well. And here I need to add one more thing. This is the question. Discuss problems. Object 1. Improvements. Object 2. Okay. Now, one more thing. Theory questions are of two types. Listen, this is another big bouncer coming up. Theory questions are of two types. One is a knowledge-based question. One is an application-based question. Another tip. If it is a knowledge-based question, so you just have to write the core book knowledge. Like, explain the advantages of the ABC budget or rolling budget. You just have to write simple advantages of rolling budget. That's it. Nothing more. It's a knowledge based. You don't have to link with a scenario. It's simple to write. Simple without linking you can write. But if it is an application based question, you have to link with the scenario. You have to apply the knowledge with the case. Link with the scenario. Understood? Okay. So the question that we are talking about is knowledge based or application based, and how would you know it? So let's read it. Discuss the problems which had occurred at static co. At. Now this is what? Come on, tell me. Knowledge based or application based? You have to mention the problems of static company or the general ones. Sir, application based. We have to mention the problems of static company, things which are applicable in static company. That's what we have to focus on. Understood? So this is how you figure out a question is knowledge based or application based. If the question states that you have to apply using the current scenario, it's application based. So now you have to use the material that is available in the scenario. Improving in terms of theory, understanding the techniques. Okay. So now, problems. The three I mentioned, it is just for my explanation that I've used bullets. But this will be in paragraphs. Now for problems, you may even use two paragraphs, even one paragraph, but paragraph is important. So, inaccurate sales forecast, let them make an investment in the production line. This unnecessary investment cost 6 million and ROI to drop. Okay. Inaccurate sales forecast means wrong staffing levels also done, wrong material purchased as well. This forced them to give discounts as well. And remember, once you have given discount and you have reduced your prices, then it is not easy for you to bring the prices back. Problems, scenario based, in paragraphs. Okay? Clear? Done. Now the second object, improvements. How rolling budget will bring an improvement? How rolling budget will bring an improvement? How it will bring? Okay. Now if you use rolling budgets, so accurate forecast will be made. This means the problem that you had and through which you had to change your numbers would have been if you have used rolling budget, because it updates the budget on a quarterly basis. Quarterly basis. And because of that, correct investment decision would have made. Right? So, improvements, the use of rolling budget should mean that downturn in demand is adjusted for in the future quarters. Now, once you know now that once the quarter ended, now you know the things are going down. So you will make your budget according to the downward market. You know that there is a COVID-19 impact. You will alter your budget accordingly. You will make realistic budget for the remaining quarters. You will adjust your remaining quarters. You will realistically down your budget. And that helps you to produce up-to-date information, means accurate decisions. Separate paragraph or paragraphs for this and for this. Subheadings will make it clear to the examiner that you have covered problems and you have covered improvements. Theory made easy for you people. Remember, it's the examination technique that helps you to pass along with your coverage. That's it. Rolling budget would have removed all the issues. So first you identified the problems and then tell, okay, rolling budget will overcome these problems. Simple. Not at all an issue. These problems of inaccuracy would have been removed because you make budgets every quarterly, you assess the market conditions, and for uncontrollable factors, you incorporate the changes into the budget. Right now, my points are in bullets, okay? But once you explain in a paragraph, so obviously you tell the details, the one I'm telling here. So that will be okay here. Don't look at the bullets. That's just a summary. You have to elaborate it. The way I'm explaining you here. Okay? Understood? Understood? So what I've told you, for every question, break into verbs and the objects, and for every question, think whether it's application based or theory based. Now the second one, third one, come on, quickly. Discuss the problems which may be encountered when static tries to implement new budgeting system. Now first tell me, what is a verb? Discuss. What is the object? Problems. But now problems in the implementation of new budgeting system. Okay? Come on, is it application based or knowledge based? You have to find problems relevant to static co or the general problems of rolling budgets. Come on. Implementation problems. Is it application based or knowledge based? It's application based. No, it's not knowledge based. It's good to see majority are saying application based. It's application based. You have to find the problems of implementation relating that with the scenario. Okay? Yeah, name of the company is right. So, what are the obvious problems? It's so simple. You have to think about that, okay? I'm just giving you a quick hint. Now, here I want you to produce an answer. Now, I want you to learn things. Now, you draft an answer now, okay? And once you draft it, send the sample answer on the respective WhatsApp group. Few hints I want to give. First of all, do you have an experienced person in the industry as an MD right now? No. So this is a problem in making a realistic budget. This is from the scenario. It's all scenario based. Okay. So this was just one hint I gave you. Took the point from the scenario. In experience of managing director means this will create problem in preparing realistic budgets. And furthermore, you have to find, and now this is the first homework of the first day, that you draft this answer for 6 marks, relate things from the scenario. I just want to see how you will perform in this case. I hope this is clear to all of you. Share your answers in the group and then I will share the sample answer. Right? Right. So it's an application base for sure. I'm not showing you the answer, okay? So quickly I'll move the slide. I'll share this later on, but right now I'll not show you, okay? It's your test, it's your first assignment. Will you do it? Say yes or no. Right. So the examiner feedback, I already made it clear that many of the students used GP margin of original budget, which was wrong. You had to use the actual one. Okay? Many didn't use the Q1 figures, actual figures. That was a mistake. Second common mistake was people just made 3 quarters, which was wrong. Part B, many simply copy pasted the part. You can't copy paste, you have to link with the scenarios. You have to tell why this is a problem. Okay? And the third was people didn't write according to the requirement. So now link with the scenario and tell me the problems of implementation. Okay? Right. So friends, now this is the end of today's session. And here we are. I'll share $1 million plan with you people. Okay? So do follow this plan for the topics that I want you to cover through previous webinars. So make sure you do follow that. If you're not part of my group, WhatsApp me right now so that you get the complete support. Okay? Quickly before I end, how was the first session today? Did you learn new techniques, tips? How you rate the first session, please? Give your feedback to me right now. And after the session, when it's end, when the session gets ended, okay? Okay, give me your feedback. Happy? Learn new techniques. Did you find my teaching different and easier? So will you continue taking all the 4 sessions? Say yes or no. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Love it. Now, I'll discuss transfer pricing later on. Don't worry. Now, listen, guys. Once the session is ended, you have to give me a small favor, please. Once the session gets ended today, after the session, you get a feedback form. And that feedback is what ACCA gets it. So if you are satisfied, if you are happy, if you found my teaching different, easy, you learn new techniques, so please do share your feedback with ACCA right after the session gets ended. Will you do this? Come on, guys. Yes or no? Everyone. So do share your feedback with them. Do tell them how useful the session was. Stay connected. Ask your friends to join tomorrow's session. You bring one of your friend in tomorrow's session who was not part of today. If you do a good thing for others, you will be blessed. Okay? If you do help others, you will get the help from God. Okay? So ask other friends to join the tomorrow's session. Remain connected through WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. Do share your feedback after the session with ACCA Pakistan. This is my WhatsApp number. Please send me a quick WhatsApp. Be on time tomorrow. Take care. Have a nice day. Rizwan Mania signing off from ACCA's webinar. Make sure you are in the tomorrow's session. Until then, take care. Bye.